Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with a design team project for Fifi's digital designs. I'm using her Grungy Mixed Media Background Paper Kit 1, and there is 18 pages in the kit. Absolutely stunning. They are background papers. You want to keep that in mind. So some of them go together, but others are very different. They all are mixed media-ish. So these are a few of the images. I'll be showing you the ones I'll be using as well. I'm not using this one today. I'm not using these two. I am using the top two. I'm not using any of the teal papers, but I am using these, and I am using this one, but I'm not using the others. So as you can see, they are absolutely beautiful. This does not do it justice. The gold in this and the vibrancy of this teal is absolutely stunning. I don't know if you can even tell that that's a shiny gold, but it is. It's beautiful. And this down here as well is just absolutely gorgeous. So that's what we're going to be working with today. So we're going to make a stacked envelope journal. And I thought I could kind of accomplish two things at once. This will probably be a two-part video. This first part will be shorter, but I'm going to show you how I put together my envelopes. I like to put them all together, cut the openings, the things open that I want to have open, and then I'm ready to prepare all of my pages to fit on top of all those surfaces. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm just going to set that aside. And then these are some of the papers that I'm using. So look at that gorgeousness. I think this is one of my favorite papers. It's a toss-up. There's so many beautiful ones. This is another absolutely gorgeous. Look at the mixed media in there. You can see up in this area, definitely mixed media. I don't know her. I just literally just touched base with her, and I was sent a message from Lorna Taylor asking me if I'd be interested in doing a guest design team project for Fifi's digital designs, and so I reached out to her, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, and this is another one that's similar to the other one, but you can see that it's on this side of the page. I really love that. This is going to be very versatile, especially in this project. And then this one is that same other one where I pointed out the design, but the design is on the opposite side of the page. And then I thought this would be pretty too, even though it's kind of not in the color family. We'll see if we use that or not. I'm not sure, but I thought I would print it just in case. And then this is a toss-up for which is my favorite. I really, really love this one as well. So, and then this is another one that we'll be using, which I love. Did I have two of those other ones? No, I didn't. And then we have this one that I talked about. So I did print on 65-pound paper. I played around with another project with this paper, wanting to keep the bulk down and use 20-pound paper, and I didn't like it at all. Like, I just do not like working with 20-pound paper, so I'm not going to do it. If this envelope journal ends up being bulkier than it could be, then we'll deal with it. But that's what we're going to do. So I'm just grabbing some paper towels here because it gets messy in a hurry here. So I'm hoping that I'll remember the order that I had these in. Let me take a quick picture. Short-term memory loss, so I just did this, but I'm going to hope that I can tell by looking at the picture what I was thinking I wanted to do before we start gluing it together and cutting the edges off and such. So the idea is we'll have this little flippy thing just on the very top. That will be kind of the focal point, and then this will open like a book, and then they'll have a main image underneath it. So I'm going to try to keep these together because they are going to be glued pretty much together, although this flap is going to attach somewhere else. And then we've got two of these smaller envelopes that are going to attach to the big envelope. So what I want to do on this one is I do want to definitely cut open the side. I'm just going to use my scissors because I feel pretty comfortable with that. So I'm just going to take off just a smidge off this edge. And when I first started doing envelope journals, I was a train wreck. Like, I don't do backwards and upside down and stuff like that very well. I get very, very confused easily. So this was the best way that I could be successful at doing this kind of thing. So I'm debating, I think I want this one to open on this side. Well, wait a minute, it's going to go like that, so it needs to open. I want it to open on this side. So we're going to go ahead and cut this side open. Just like that. And I'm just going to put that back in place just so I don't get confused. Oh, that was kind of weird. It just came undone there. That's okay. Got bent. So that one's going to come up there, and then it's not straight right now, but I'm not worried about that. So this one's going to come up from the bottom. So I think I'm going to have this one open on the top. And the beautiful thing about envelope journals, which is why I'm quite addicted to them actually, when I get in kind of this mindset, because there's just so many variations of what you can do. So that's going to be that. And then this is going to be a free floating piece. So we're going to, I'm just going to glue this together. I don't need to be mindful of anything on this envelope as far as keeping pocket open, because we're not putting any papers on top of it to affect that opening. On this one, however, when we put paper on this, we'll want to make sure that we don't glue in this area right here, that we're only gluing around and in the center here. But we will deal with that in video 2. And then the same with this one. We would want to be mindful of that. So we opened that one on the top. I do want to go ahead and glue this one down on the side though before we get too far along. I'm going to use my smaller glue just because I want to control the flow here a little bit. So I'm going to just put a little bit of white glue if it will work for me, which it seems like it's going to be a problem. So let's try this. Boy, that's plugged up. She's not happy. Try that again. Okay, let's see if that's enough. It does not appear to be enough. You know, white glue is my nemesis, to be honest. It's just so frustrating. Let's try this one. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit closer, you guys. There we go. Let's try it again. Oh, this one's going to work, but it's going to give me too much glue, which is what I don't like. That's all right. We'll deal with it. So if I get my paper towel, as I mentioned, it gets messy pretty fast with all this oozing glue. So what I like to do once I do that is I'm going to go ahead and try to open the landscape of that a little bit, because that was a lot of glue. So I'm just going to stick my ruler in here and just kind of press on that a little bit without ungluing it. That should be good. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this puppy on. And I don't need to glue that flap closed because I'm going to cover the back of it. So let's go ahead and glue this one on by the flap. I like these square, oh, that didn't stick. I like these square flap envelopes because you don't have so much bulk because it's small. It's a smaller area. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my white glue here and go all the way around. And again, when we cover this with paper, we will be mindful of this space here. So we do not glue our pockets shut that we're wanting to reserve for some lovely bits. So I'm going to just slide that under there, and this one's just the same width as the above envelope, so I want to be very careful. I should probably bring that down just a little bit because we need to allow for a little bit of bulk, so I'm going to do that. I'm not going to stuff this thing too full, but that will give us a little bit of breathing room. So let's go ahead and do the same with this one. So again, let's go ahead and glue this pocket or this side shut since we cut it open. Oh, wait a minute, we want that open. Duh. We want it open. Oh my goodness, did I just do that on this one too? No, I didn't. Did I? Nope, I didn't. It's open. See, I told you I get mixed up. So, oh, you'll have to forgive me. I am coming off of a week of illness, so not your traditional illness. I had an allergic reaction to some medication, and it was horrible. I had this horrible rash all over my face and my ears and my neck, and it's still rashy, but the allergic reaction is over. Now it's just a matter of my skin getting healed up. It's still very unhappy. So I'm leaving a little bit, I hope you guys can see that I'm leaving a little bit of a gap there, so that we have some room for some bulk. So it kind of makes this look funny because that sticks up. We didn't really see it on this one because of the way that the envelope is flipping, but that is that. And then this one is supposed to come around. Let's take this one off and work with, I think we're going to work with getting these glued on first, and then we'll glue it to this base, just because I don't want to get all confused. And so this one is going to be a top loading pocket. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this edge open. Like so. That will be beautiful. And then this one's going to go on here like that. So it's pretty straightforward. We're not gluing this down because this is going to attach it to our bigger base, but we are going to glue this one down. I think I'm going to trim this off just so I don't have to worry about gluing something that I shouldn't glue. So in terms of how that's overlapping this envelope. So let's just glue this on. Oh, let's make sure it's straight first, Cara-Renee. Goodness gracious. I do want it even because this is kind of the focal point, the center of attention here. So, and again, I do want to keep that pulled out. I should have scored it again, but it'll get messed with as we continue to work. So I'm not too concerned about that. I don't want it to be too big of a gap though. There we go. Here we go. Doing it this way, this has become a very fun and easy process for me. Before it was like it was a lesson in patience and perseverance, because it just was really hard for me to I would miss something and then it would be all wonky and stuff. So we're going to do the same with this. I'm going to go ahead and trim this off as well. Probably don't need to trim this one off. Yeah, we do. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. I am going to go ahead and trim that. Just saves on the bulk, basically. So that's one's going to go like that. It's going to meet up with that one. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just making sure that that is even before I move. And then I'm going to go ahead and, again, I'm going to create a little bit of a gap, just a slight gap there. And then we're going to glue this flap down. There we go. Perfecto. Okay, so let's go ahead and, I'm just thinking, oh, I didn't open these up though. Did I want these open? Well, of course we want them open because it's an envelope journal. So, oh, it's okay. That's the top. So I'm thinking that we want to have these, debating on how I want them to load. I think I want this one to load from the top, which is, I should have caught that. So I'm going to have them load from the side because I did not open that up before I glued it. So that's okay though, we can improvise. So I'm just going to trim that off, and we will glue all the other bits closed up again that we need closed up as we get, when we get to video 2 and we start putting papers on. There we go. So that is open as well. So just for, so I remember, that's really loose. My goodness gracious. Probably because I cut some of that off. So let me just put some glue on this for now. just to secure that. That's kind of crazy. It's like nothing there. Nothing to the envelope. That's really strange. But it'll all be fine because this will all get stabilized with the paper. So I'm not concerned about that. And then we'll do the same with this one. I do have to turn because I'm right-handed. So this is what works for me. I know it makes lots of turns and twists for you guys, but we will review what we did at the very end just in case you need a recap. There we go. Okay, so that's that. So this is going to fold over here. Awesome. And then we wanted one of these envelopes to stick in here, which is not a problem, even though we cut this open, right? So this is going to go here, and I'm just going to stick it in here with the flap. And let's decide where we want this one to open. If I can get it inside, goodness gracious. So I think we'll have this one open on the side as well. Easy peasy. But that again is the beautiful thing about an envelope journal, is you get to decide how your pockets work, what you know, if you have a top open, a bottom open, sides open. It's totally up to you. This is not working very well. Oh, sorry for that noise. Oh my goodness gracious. There must be some extra glue in there on the envelope. Adhesive. Doesn't want to open. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So that is going to go in here. And so even though we did already cut that open, that is okay. We just glue it to the inside of this. So we're just going to go ahead and put some glue in here. On here, rather. The other thing I want to think about before I finish with you, I'm going to pull just one of these papers over just as a visual reminder that I want to do one more thing before I let you go today, because I want a closure on this, and I want to run the sari silk or whatever I use. I want to run it under the back side of this whole envelope flip. So I'm going to go ahead and open this so I can make sure I don't have any glue in the inside leaking. There we go. And I didn't make a gap here just because there's not going to be anything much in there. I love that. So then this is going to go on here, right? Like that. Perfect. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to run my closure along the back of this, my sari silk or whatever I choose to use, seam binding, I'm not sure. But before I do that, I need to cut some paper down. So let me select which one I'd like to have be on the back. It needs to be fairly big because it's a tall envelope. So it actually has to be a paper that is doesn't have to be directional necessarily. So like this one would probably work. Let's see, or the other one that's in the middle. Let's go with this one. Even though we do have some lettering, you can see that this is upside down, part of it's not, this is sideways, so this is a great paper for this. So I'm going to trim off the edges really quick, you guys. So I'm just going to grab my big cutter just because it's easier for me. This is the Fiskars Precision Cutter, and I absolutely adore it. One of my best purchases ever. It cuts through so well, and it's very precise. I guess that's why they call it the precision trimmer. And you never have to do anything with the blades. It's just, I don't know how that's possible, but it's what they say. My friend Evie recommended it, and I'm so glad that she did because it is awesome. There we go. So let's go ahead and get this over here. And I'm just going to get this ready, and then I'm going to reach behind me and get some sari silk. I wish that this was, you know what? Because I really want it to go the direction that it's supposed to go. I'm going to grab one more thing, you guys. Forgive me. One moment. Okay. So what I have is I have some cardstock that I think would be really pretty here. And so I think I'm going to cut the cardstock to fit the back, and then I'm going to cut this down and make a panel of it. So I'm hoping that that is making sense to you. So let me grab some sari silk that I think will, or some sari silk or seam binding that will work. This is really lovely, but it's really a mess. It was not one of my great purchases because it's got like a knot and a tie like so often on this thing like that. It's just hardly, yeah, it's so hard to use. So I'm not going to use that. We could use just a regular kind of creamy seam binding, or we could use a green. We've got this pretty green, but there's not a lot of green in the design. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not even on camera, guys. Goodness gracious. Let's see what else we've got here. I think we're going to have to go for some sari silk, unless one of these other rolls of this, which it's not looking any better. It would be really pretty though. So I tend towards seam binding anyway, so let me grab some close choices. Hopefully I can find something that looks like it would go. So we've got kind of this kind of a gray blue. I'm not sure if I have anything that would match that. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not more prepared here, you guys. So we've got this blue, which I think is too blue. That's almost too light. Then we've got a gray, which a gray would be also very pretty. I think that the gray is going to be our best bet because that's the only ones I have in that color family. And then, oh, this is pretty too. This is like it's almost got a green tone to it. It's a different color than this one. I like this one better. Okay. Whew. So what we're going to do, just so I don't forget, I'm going to make sure these are all going the right direction. And then I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to pull some of this off. And I'm going to get my my Fabri-Tac here. And we're going to see what we can do here. I like to have plenty, so I'm gonna go less is more, or more is less, or whatever. So if this went around, I like to use, well, it could wrap around twice if we wanted it to, but I don't think we need to. So I'm gonna just be very generous and go like that. If I have extra, I'll use it on a tag or something that's gonna go in this. So it won't be wasted. I don't ever waste my seam binding. So then we're going to go ahead and we are going to go ahead and glue this down. I don't remember if we talked about that. Oh, well, I didn't even do anything with it, did I? Okay, let's think about this again. It was like that. So we've got flippy, flippy, flippy. That's just a base that flips out, and then we've got those two, and then we've got an opening at the, didn't we have an opening at the top of this? Do I have it upside down? Oh, you know what I did? I opened my opening. I'm going to close my opening on this. So, doggone it, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. So I guess our base is not going to have anything. It's just going to be a base because I don't want to mess with that. So I am going to go ahead and glue this down right now. And so we can get on with this. Get on with the show, so they say. Go. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. I'm just gonna pick this up so I can look at where it's positioned and stuff. Here it looks to be good. It does kind of look funny when they stick out like that, but it does help the bulk. So it's worth it in my opinion. So that is that. This, I think what was confusing me is this one's wider also than that. Oh, that's where our opening is. Our opening is right here on the side. So I didn't think about that very well, which is fine. That can be a perfectly beautiful secret tuck spot, but we are going to stick more glue in here then. There we go. Let's let that sit for a second. Okay. And now we're going to go ahead and turn her over. Direction is not mattering at this point, so I'm going to fold this in half so I have an equal amount on either side of where I am going to glue it. So this is the center. This is the center, so we're going to put this right here. Okay, so I'm just going to move it down. I do kind of want it in the middle if I can control that, which looks to be about right here. So I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac again, and I'm going to make a line. I'm going to have to turn this though because of my directional challenges. And we're going to run a bead of glue all the way across. Hopefully my Fabri-Tac was not happy this morning, so hopefully I can get her to work. There we go. So we're just going to build the back here really quick, and then I'll let you go. That should be plenty. So there's going to be more on top of it, so we're just going to ease this over like that. And if you guys are looking for a seller for seam binding, colored seam binding, My Scrappy, I think it's called My Scrap Cabin, is epic. I get all of mine from her. So that is that. So then when this is all done, we're going to have this beautiful ability to tie it, which that's not the middle, but it actually works out really well because it works out to be the middle of this section, which is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to actually kind of tie this so that it doesn't get in the way. Like so, just to get her out of the way. And then we're going to work on this back. So I'm going to cut a piece of this, this scrapbook paper. And this will bring some light to the project too. Oh, this is going to be challenging because, oh no, because they're not the same size. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is going to look really strange, but we're going to roll with it, you guys. It's okay. We're going to have some of this peachy card showing everywhere. So that's all right though. In fact, let me just bring that over a little bit and just let it show on purpose if we're going to have it show, right? And I'm going to cut it here. So I'm just going to make a line there. I'm probably making this much harder than it needs to be. And then I'm going to make a line here, and I know that that's going to come down. It's going to come down and meet this corner. And then it's going to meet up here. So I'm just going to make this line as well. So I'm going to bring the trimmer back over and cut this down. The only other trimmer I have is a little one, so it won't do this paper. So I'm just going to cut on that pencil line. And we'll see. If we hate it, we can think again about it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So the way that would work is this is going to go on here, and it's going to show in little places. So you can see that it's going to meet that edge there, but it's going to show a little bit in other places, which I think actually looks kind of cool. So we're gonna embrace it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on the back of the envelope because I don't know where on the paper I don't need to have glue contact. So we're going to go ahead and use, I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac. Well, is this big art glitter glue working? Let's see. Yeah. So I'm just going where my envelopes are. I'm not doing anything else, just following the line of the envelopes. I feel like I'm making a huge mess. I'm not, but I feel like I feel chaotic on the inside of me, which makes creating hard sometimes. So let's go ahead and put this down. And I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to immediately turn this over so I can adjust, because I want this to line up exactly the way it's supposed to. So that looks amazing. We've got a little bit too much on this side. We can trim that off. So there we go, and our closure is tucked in there, which is nice. So I'm going to trim this off a little bit, hopefully not cut my envelope open or my, oh my goodness, I'm off camera, you guys, or my seam binding. That would be a tragedy. We might have to start over. There we go. That is going to be awesome. Look at that. I love it. Okay, so let's cut this one. Let's see what the dimensions are on this so that we can cut a piece to go out of this paper. So this is just under 6 inches by 9, just under 9 inches. So, goodness, this is going to be tricky. I'm just going to hold it up here, put it up here, because I do have to allow that peach border, because that was the whole reason why we had to use the peach border paper. So I'm just looking side to side, or top to bottom, and then I'm going to do about the same distance right here as we have on the top. So there and there. Hopefully I can see that. And that should get us covered. So oh, thinking is sometimes hard. There we go. Okay, thank you for bearing with me. Let's go ahead and find our pencil marks. That would be optimal. Where did they go? Okay, oh, there's one. There's one. So trim that off, and we're going to turn it around, and our other pencil line is right here. So that's going to be perfect. Awesome. We'll use those scraps for something. All right, so let's get this back over here. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let me grab my ink, just because I won't have a chance to ink this once it's glued, obviously. So got my vintage photo archival ink, and I use archival ink because I am a mixed media artist, and archival ink will not run when you put other mediums on top of it or makes contact. It's not going to move or be affected. So I would highly suggest archival ink if you tend to go back and forth between wet and dry mediums. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, let's get this glued on. I almost want to do that, one of those, do those fancy corners. Let me grab my fancy corner thingy. You guys know what I'm talking about? It's this one. Is it this one? I never can remember which one though, so let me grab a scrap here. See if I can figure out which one it is. It's not that one. It must be full of stuff here. Let's try the other end. Yeah, that one. Boy, there must be things in here. There we go. Come on out. You're not needed anymore. Let's go ahead and do that. I like this punch, so, or this corner rounder, and it'll be a nice accent to the back of this piece. There we go. And just a little more ink, since we did affect that corner. You could also round them, that would be pretty, but I have that and I always forget to use it. So this time I'm going to put my glue on the back of my digital. And then we will be done, and I will be back for part 2. I will get all the papers prepped, and measured and cut down because I like to save time on the video. And so I will do that and be ready to go for part 2. But I really hope that you'll check out Fifi's digital designs. And I understand she told me that she's coming out with a winter birds kit, which I'm super excited to see. So we'll see what that is. I might choose to use that kit next time. So here we go. Okay, so which way do we want it to go? Let's just do, oh, that looks upside down. Let's do that. Okay, so I need to be thinking about my distance that I had basically had. I can wiggle this a little bit, but I want to get it as straight as possible. That looks pretty darn good. I'm going to go ahead and give that a good rub. There we go. So that is part 1. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.